Do we actually have to admit that Aaron Rodgers was right about everything? Is Sean Payton really just a coach that rode a great quarterback's coattails? And who is the worst of the worst in the NFL right now? That and more on Sports Talk with Dad coming at you right now. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Sports Talk with Dad. As always, my name is Kyle, and I cannot call this Sports Talk with Dad without the man sitting next to me, a man so old he actually remembers when the Green Bay Packers were this bad. My dad, Tim.
Yes. And yes.
You were there for greatness and then bad, and then greatness, then bad, and then greatness.
I was there for greatness, bad, greatness, and now we're back to that.
So you were there for the first bad, because they were bad in the late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
So you were there
I wasn't there.
Lambeau.
No, I was not there.
And then they were bad for a couple years after Lambeau. And then you were there for the Hudson years.
Okay, you can pick on me all you want. It's my turn to pick on you. Got a lot of comments about last week's show.
Yeah.
And the idea that you could hit a former major league player like Kerry Wood.
Yeah.
A lot of people were laughing at you.
Of course. Because
there's no way.
They're wrong.
I sent you a video showing Nolan Ryan and Randy Johnson just without any warm-up.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, it is 3 months of training we're talking about. And I said with 3 months of training, where I get to train all day, right? I'd be there 8 to 12 hours a day practicing to hit for 3 months straight. And then I have to hit for 100 pitches. 100 pitches I get to hit. I'll get one hit off of a 45-year-old plus retired baseball player.
Yeah.
And I said I could do it. Straight fastballs, too. They're just fastballs.
Did you see Nolan Ryan at 70 and Randy Johnson at about
I could
45?
hit Nolan Ryan right now for sure.
He's 80 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying
I could hit Warren Spahn, too.
You could hit him with a bat over the head. He's dead. And that doesn't count.
But I think I could. Man, Randy Johnson looked like he could really throw a ball still, though.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I want to try. If anybody knows a way I can make this happen, let me know in the comments below.
It would be fun to see. I would love to see.
I think I could do it because I only have a couple more years where I think this is a reality situation. I mean, I was not a high school baseball player. I was barely a little league baseball player. So it would be really me
needing a lot of work.
Over 3 months. But I think I could do it. It'd be a good test. I should get a bloop. It's one hit, and then I put the bat down.
And it's their ego and their competitiveness against you.
Yeah.
And they win.
That would be the greatest.
That would be great.
Greatest moment of my life.
I'd love to do
Besides my kids being born, don't judge me.
Don't tell me about it. I would love to see it.
Yeah. Better make it happen. But let's get back to the terribleness that we saw.
We have
last night on Monday Night Football. Again, I know I mention this all the time. We record this on Tuesday, a post on Wednesday. But last night was the Green Bay Packers Monday Night Football against the Raiders. And
they should have won.
Yeah.
I mean,
they only had 30 chances to win the damn game. If the fact that they let Matt LaFleur on that damn plane after the game is a travesty.
And Joe Barry.
The whole coaching staff. This is 110% the coaching staff's fault. This is Matt LaFleur not being able to coach, and this means Aaron Rodgers was right about everything he has ever said about this team. The fact we won 13 games was because of Aaron Rodgers, and the fact we lost those games was because of bad coaching by Matt LaFleur. If he threw another damn screen in that game, I was going to break my TV.
I heard today people saying that Jordan Love took a step back. Yeah, but I think he's not getting the right coaching and not getting the right plays called. If I were Jordan Love, I'm checking at the line.
Here's the thing, is you have a quarterback where your offensive line isn't great right now, right? This is the worst offensive line I've seen from the Green Bay Packers in probably 10 years.
Okay.
Since about 2017 when we did this injury thing and really...
That's not 10 years. That's about 8. What are we, 13? Now you make 6 years.
Okay, whatever. Since about that time frame, though, I'm talking. I thought about it. Shut up.
McCarthy's last year.
one of McCarthy's last year. The last year when he was really starting to downfall, we had a lot of injuries on the offensive line. I lost my train of thought. Oh, so anyway, you have a quarterback that's new to the system, right? And so what do you need to do? You need to get quick passes out, right? Your running game's not working, so you need to run a lot of slants. You need to have him just step back once and be ready to fire that ball. Get that ball out of his hand quick, get him some quick confidence so he can get these balls ready to go and then keep moving forward. What you don't do is run a screen, which is one of the stupidest plays in football, by the way. Unless it's set up properly, but you set it up throughout the game. A screen should only be run once or twice a game because you set it up and then you have that lineup on the side because a screen either is a big play that gains you a lot of yards or you lose 5 yards because you're throwing behind the ball. He ran back-to-back screens 4 times in that game. 4 damn times in that game he ran back-to-back screens. That's all he ran. Well, our running game's not working, so let's just run a screen. When they see the setup, they see all the wide receivers over there, and they know what's coming. And then, oh, by the way, that's not working. So let's have a quarterback that hasn't been accurate with the deep ball just bomb it down the damn field.
Jordan Love throws a very, very good out pass. He's accurate. It's in a place where his receivers can catch it and nobody else can.
Right.
But I agree with you. Romeo Doubs was barely in the game. He might as well have not even suited up.
Right.
I don't understand.
We never threw the ball.
No.
Well, if we did throw the ball, it was a screen or a bomb down the field. And I'm sorry, Jordan Love is not accurate enough on the field at this point to be playing that game.
And to your point, give him success. Do the quick hitters. You've got playmakers. You've got Christian Watson. You've got Romeo Doubs. You've got Reed.
You got talent.
You got talent there. Throw the little slants across the field like the Raiders did to Devontae Adams.
And by the way,
and then go.
The Raiders were playing 2 corners that they just signed off their practice squad. And you didn't go at them once. You literally didn't go at them once except for a deep ball, which was probably the prettiest deep ball at the end of the game when he threw that game-costing interception. It was right there. The guy is just 5'8", and it was late.
He threw it late.
Right. But you have this guy who barely has time in the pocket, and why are you not throwing slants, outs, button hooks, a quick crossing route, something to open up their playing zone? And when they are playing man, you have 2 guys that were literally signed off the practice squad that day.
And when you've got a guy like Max Crosby who's in your backfield all game, why aren't you running 2 running back sets?
How good is Max Crosby?
Oh, my God.
He is one of my all-time inspirations. A guy who struggled with alcoholism, just surrounded himself with the right people, got out of it, and is just tearing up the field. He is a hell of a player and a hell of a story. But yeah, he's in your face all day. He's in the backfield all day. A.J. Dillon is garbage.
He's not garbage.
He's garbage.
He led him down the field on the 1 scoring drive they had. And by the way,
garbage.
By the way, you have a good drive. You get a horse collar tackle. You're inside the 4.
You don't score.
Well, there were 3 of the worst calls I've ever seen. You run Dillon up the gut twice, which they had 8 in the box, and then you roll him out to the left with nobody. They just left him there, and Crosby was right there to.
This is the worst play calling I've ever seen. McCarthy, when he was at his worst, was not this bad of a play caller, and I could have called those plays in my sleep. It was run, pass. I mean, this is clear that Aaron Rodgers had been checking out of all those plays. Clearly, he was running the offense all by himself.
He was the OC.
He was running on the field, throwing checks. Jordan Love, you can't expect that of him. He didn't take a step back. He's playing like a rookie quarterback in his first season. This Aaron Rodgers wasn't doing the stuff he was doing before at this time. He's right where he needs to be. But we're going to break Jordan Love like the Bears break quarterbacks.
Yes. Yeah, if Love has to go through the entire year like this, his spirit will be broken, and the Packers might as well. Unfortunately, right now, my prediction's looking right. The Packers are a 4 or 5 win team.
They shouldn't be. There's so much talent on that team. So much talent.
And on defense.
Yes.
Oh, my God. You have a set where you end up having Preston Smith on Devontae Adams at the end of the game? How stupid are you?
Joe Barry's trash. Matt LaFleur is trash. They shouldn't have been allowed on the plane back from Vegas. You should have went to the blackjack tables and say, if you win, you can keep your job.
That would have been good.
I mean, that's where we should have been. Matt LaFleur is trash. He's absolute garbage. He's proving he's garbage. The play calling, which he's doing, by the way, was the worst play calling in the world. You had, again, 2 corners who you just signed off your damn practice squad, and you didn't go at him at all. 0 times you went at him.
It actually, to me, was to really put a light on something. He was 29th in the league in offense when he was the offensive coordinator
for the Titans.
Tennessee. He is that bad.
Yeah, he is that bad. Aaron Rodgers made up for a lot of sins. All the sins. But this proves Aaron Rodgers was right the whole time. He was right about it with McCarthy. He was right about, I mean, if we just would have done things Aaron Rodgers' way, we would have won 2 more Super Bowls.
Okay, I met Mike McCarthy and the Packers / Rodgers. It just come to a parting of the ways. It was
McCarthy had lost his nerve.
Yeah, they ran their course. I asked you this last week, and I'm going to ask you this again. If Andy Reid was coaching this Green Bay Packers team,
we'd be 5-0.
Maybe
we'd be 5-0. We would be 5-0 if he was coaching this team. We have the talent. The fact that we won the games that we have shows that we have the talent. The Bears don't count. They're just a really bad team. But I'm nervous about the Bears coming to Green Bay because they're starting to look better and we're starting to look worse. And all of this has to do with play calling. This isn't, I mean, don't get me wrong, A.J. Dillon's not great. We have to get used to that now. He's not what we thought he was. The quads are clearly show muscles, and that's about it. Because he's not plowing anybody over. He's not carrying anybody down the field. He's just not good.
He's not bad.
He's not
good.
Aaron
Jones.
He's not a starting running back in this league. He's just not. He is not. He has gotten worse over his career. But we have a team that is extremely talented and young, and we have a coach that is not doing the work. Again, if you are a head coach coming into a scheme and you know their corners are injured, they are hurt, you're playing guys against your practice squad, you need to be able to adjust on the fly and say, we're going to do quick slants all day long. We're going to get the ball out of his hand because our offensive line is very, very hurt right now. Elton Jenkins back when God knows if he should be. He was pretty hurt. I thought he was out for much longer. I was surprised to see him on the roster. And then again, a defense that we pile up sacks because our front four is so talented and then just run stupid schemes all day long. Like you said, we had Preston Smith on Devontae Adams. That's never acceptable when you have Jair Alexander, who's a top 5 corner, if not a top 3 corner in this league.
Look, I've been harsh on Goody, but he put together a pretty good roster.
A hell of a team.
He mismanaged the Adams and the Rodgers decisions very badly.
Ego got in the way.
It did. So for those reasons, he should have gone. But he's put a team together that has the talent next year or later this season that would have won. If I'm the Packers, LaFleur is playing out the string. I'm bringing in Eric Bieniemy from Washington.
That's my sign.
And go and get a defensive coordinator, a top-notch coordinator.
You go Jim Schwartz, try and steal him from Philadelphia. Bring him in with the money. You get Steve Spagnuolo from Kansas City. Try and find a way to sign him away from Andy Reid if you can. If anything, bring in Dan Quinn from Dallas as your head coach if you have to build that defense.
I'd rather see Bieniemy from Washington. I think you need an offensive-minded coach with this team, with a young team, because I think he could be very creative with Jordan Love and the talent that's there. They're not going to have Aaron Jones next year. Now they're not going to get Jonathan Taylor, so they're going to have to.
You have to bring back Aaron Jones at this point. You have no choice. You have nothing else at the running back position, unless you spend a big draft pick on a running back.
Oh, we're going to have a high one.
I mean, we have too talented of a defense, and the problem is we're running out of time. Kenny Clark's getting older. Preston Smith is getting older. You're about to sign Rashawn Gary to a big contract. It's just time. Quay Walker, you're going to have to sign at some point here to a big contract. You already have Jair signed. Rasul Douglas is getting to the point where he's going to demand a big contract. We still don't have a safety. But besides that, we have a stacked defense, and the play calling is so bad. So bad. I mean, the fact, again, a screen is great when you can set it up with the run, when you can set it up with the pass, and you have that line, and now it's a big play. Running a screen, they must have run 12 screens in that game. 12 screens.
My only criticism of Love is that he had happy feet. He was bailing out of the pocket way too soon.
How can he not?
No, he had pressure on him again last night. I get it.
You're not setting him up for success. This is a Hall of Fame quarterback could be, and you're going to break him. He has all the tools. He's checking down. He's looking at stuff. He has no time. As your coach, as a play caller, your job is to look at that and say, listen, we're going to get this out of your hands quick. We're going to run slants all day long. We're going to run quick posts. We're going to run button hooks. We're going to you get the ball out. Love should be throwing that ball to Christian Watson before he turns around, and the ball should just be here. That's what should be happening. You are playing against corners that are signed off a practice squad.
The biggest concern I've got about Love is he does not throw a good deep ball.
He doesn't. That comes with time.
Close. I know it comes
Aaron
with time.
Rodgers didn't throw a good deep ball for a long time. Okay, Aaron Rodgers threw a good deep ball for a long time, but that's all he worked on in practice. If he was coming out of college, it wouldn't have been that case. But again, that's Mike McCarthy and Tom Clements saying you need to learn how to throw this. This is all you're going to do all day long. You throw this deep ball till you figure it out.
And Tom Clements is there working with Jordan Love, and I've seen a lot of growth from last year to this year.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback now.
Okay. Reel that back in.
This is a quarterback that has all the intangibles. He has everything.
He's a good leader.
He has a pretty looking deep ball. That last deep ball again was right on the money. It was just thrown late.
Way late.
The ball looked pretty. He just needs to get more accurate with it, which he needs to work on, which is fine. But he can get it across the middle. You're not running plays that set him up for success. Why in the world? This is Matt LaFleur can't adjust from a game plan is what this is. He had a game plan coming in that we're going to run the ball down their throat, which was stupid knowing Max Crosby was there and how good he is. And he wasn't adjusting. You need to adjust your play calls now to say, nope, we're running slants. And why wasn't that your idea to begin with, knowing, again, you're going against corners that were signed off a practice squad? I'm just baffled by this.
I am too. It was an ugly, ugly, ugly loss on national TV. There were a lot of cheeseheads in the audience there.
You didn't even take a gamble. You're in Vegas and you're not even taking a gamble. You're running just stupid plays. It's like going to the blackjack table and say, if I ever have 12, I'm going to stay. Like, That's all you have. It's a great reference, and I don't play blackjack, by the way.
I don't either because I lose every time I play blackjack.
I do too. The mathematical advantage, clearly I'm not smart enough to play blackjack.
I won once, and that was because a guy was sitting next to me telling me what to do.
I got really mad at a blackjack table when I was I think I was 21 actually when this happened. I had just been able to go to these tables, and I split 10s because I had 2 10s and the dealer was showing 13. And the table freaked out on me. You know what I got when I doubled down? I got a blackjack and I got a 20, and then everybody else lost because the dealer hit 19.
They were still furious at you.
They can be. And I made the comment at the table I'll still make today. I'm not there for the table to win. I'm there for myself to win. I don't give a shit what happens to your money. This is my money, and I just won. So clearly this was a smart idea. And then I was at a table all by myself.
I bet.
That's why I play poker. But back to the BS that we're dealing with when it comes to Packers coaching. They need to fire him now.
Well, that's
not at the end of the year. Now. You need to make a point. Gutekunst, take control of this team. If you are going to be the leader of this team, take control, because Gutekunst didn't hire Matt LaFleur.
No, he didn't. Mark Murphy did without consulting anybody.
Correct. But you built a talented team. You really have. I have to give you credit. You still handled the Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers situation as poorly as you possibly could, but you built a team. And if there's a reason you did this, prove it. Fire Matt LaFleur during the bye week. Right now. You shouldn't have left him on the plane. Let him on the plane. Get rid of him and bring in somebody next year who can run this team. Bring in Eric Bieniemy. He's proven it in Washington now. Bring him in as your head coach. Call it a day. This has been a nightmare situation, and we need to move on.
Well, welcome to my childhood when I was in my...
I'm not doing it. Not when we have talent like this am I going to put up with dealing with this nonsense.
Let me ask you another question. Speaking of talent. So, I was excited to watch McCarthy's Cowboys play the 49ers because I thought it'd be a great game.
You just want to see me upset today, don't you?
I really do. I am enjoying this more than you know. You gave me whatever crud. You could probably hear in my voice, which probably sounds better.
I didn't get you sick.
My
children got you sick.
They got me deathly ill. But
I told you not to hug them.
I caught it before I hugged him because the next day I was in death warmed over.
He comes over, he does what grandparents do and says, don't tell me not to hug my grandchildren. And then he expects me to feel bad that he's sick. I'm not going to feel bad for you.
I expected Grayson to feel bad.
He doesn't. He felt the same way.
I looked at him like this, and he goes,
Yep.
I told you.
He's
Anyway,
my son.
that game was as big a ball. Number one, Purdy needs to get more credit than he gets.
He does. He's not going to.
He's a very good quarterback. He hasn't done it with a bad team yet, so we'll see if he can make other players better as the years go on.
But he's doing what he has to do.
He is. He makes the plays. He is a playmaker. Is it Prescott or McCarthy?
I think the answer was extremely clear last night.
Not last night.
Sunday night, sorry. Dak Prescott threw back-to-back-to-back interceptions on back-to-back-to-back drives. Dak Prescott is 100% the problem. What did they have, 5 or 6 turnovers last night?
Something like that.
How do you get things rolling? I would take Mike McCarthy in Green Bay right now.
I would
like
too.
He needed to leave when he needed to leave, but this is a different situation with a different team. Bring him back. Like, we have the talent, we could use him. His play calling was good, but what are you going to do when? And there were stupid interceptions. This isn't like the ball got tipped in the air and bad things happen. This is like Dak Prescott's playing for the San Francisco 49ers.
Look, I've always thought Dak Prescott was a B quarterback. He was never a top echelon, even though he got paid like it.
Right.
When he was first early in his career, he made some plays and he had some talent and he showed some things, but he's a game manager. And without the big running back, when he had to take control of the game and win it for them or keep them in it,
right,
there was nothing there.
I mean, this is making Cowboys fans miss Tony Romo.
Romo was good.
Romo was good, but he wasn't at the same time. He was hurt a lot. But this is really, really all on Dak Prescott. They're going to bench him at some point. I mean, you might see Trey Lance this year.
Well, this is going to cost McCarthy his job.
How can you say that, though? The team's letting McCarthy down.
It's Jerry
How
Jones.
is this McCarthy's fault?
It's Jerry Jones.
It's not McCarthy's fault.
You
No, I'm a McCarthy apologist, went through and through, because, I mean, obviously I'm a big McCarthy fan. He won a Super Bowl in Green Bay.
Sure.
But even Cowboys fans have to look at this and be like, what do you want McCarthy to do? You can only draw up a great play and have people open on every play, and then your quarterback just throws it to the other team. I mean, all those interceptions, there were other routes where people were open.
There's a problem on defense, too, though.
There is.
Giving up 42 points. I mean, that either San Francisco really is that good and they're better than anybody thinks.
Right now they are.
The best team in the NFC.
Right now.
Even better than the Eagles.
Week 5.
Huh?
Week 5.
It's week 5. I know.
After the Packers went 15-1,
I know.
I'm cautious about it.
Yes. The season
but they look really, really good right now.
Season starts at Thanksgiving.
It does.
I think they're going to continue because I think Kyle Shanahan is the greatest coach to ever win a Super Bowl at this point.
Oh, hands down. Yeah, hands down. They're the best team right now. They put up 42 points on a Cowboy team that was missing some pieces for sure. But in a Cowboys but at some point, if you're the defense, why are you going to run that extra mile when you're getting blown out already? And they had no rest either.
No,
I mean, that's just it. When your quarterback throws back-to-back-to-back interceptions within 5 plays, and you're back out on that field again, running around, I mean, they were just gassed. They never got a second to breathe.
And their offense, there was just he looked like a rookie. He really looked bad in that game. Yeah. So I feel sorry for McCarthy because it's not going to be a fun week.
Hey, if McCarthy gets fired, bring him back.
I still would rather have the enemy.
I know what we have in McCarthy. I'll take McCarthy back in Green Bay. Can you imagine how fired up he'd be back in Green Bay? He'd be yelling at high school refs again. It'd be great.
Yes, he did. He was a frustrated man when he did that.
He was fresh off being fired. He got a little feisty at one of his kids' high school games, which I loved him for. I thought it was great, and he was right. He was 100% right. But this proves again, Aaron Rodgers was right about everything, absolutely everything.
He was, and look, Rodgers he could have been the owner of the Packers during that time.
He could have. He's being
out.
Nice right now. He was on Pat McAfee earlier today and said a lot of great things about Love and refused to say anything bad about Matt LaFleur. And he could. Easily he could. Because he's trash.
Look, when Rodgers was there, he was the OC. He was calling the plays at the line. They may have called him in, but he checked out of every play.
Matt LaFleur is so bad, a raccoon wouldn't pick him out of the trash.
Wow. Don't hold back.
That's where we are right now.
All right. On to another really, really bad team. But here's my question.
Yeah. Before we move on to that, let me know what you think in the comments below. And let me know if you agree that a raccoon wouldn't even pick Matt LaFleur out of the trash. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get to enjoy this show as much as we enjoy making it. Are we about to talk about the Denver Broncos?
We are. Because I was really upset by Payton's just outright classless comments after the Jets game. He refused to even acknowledge Nathan Hackett by name, or Nathaniel Hackett by name. He was asked.
Right.
He was asked. He goes, "Do you regret saying what you did?" And instead of saying, you know what, Nathaniel had a great scheme. He beat us. We won. Congratulations to him. And move on. That's all he had to say. It wouldn't have cost him anything to do that.
Nope.
But instead, he congratulated Shala's coaching staff.
Yep.
He looked low budget, low class.
He is low budget. He is low class. He's proving that right now.
Honestly,
Here's my thing with Sean Payton. Sean Payton's first head coaching job was with the Saints.
Yeah.
And he rode the coattails of Drew Brees. Drew Brees is one of the greatest leaders and one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Period. He'll never get put in that same category. Drew Brees will never be put in that small room for whatever reason. But he really was. He owned that team, and there's the reason they won the Super Bowl, and Sean Payton just rode his coattails.
And for those who are wondering what he meant by small room, I've always said that in every Hall of Fame, there's a Hall of Fame, but then there's a small room of the greatest of the greats in the small room.
Do you not think Drew Brees belongs in that small room?
I do, actually.
Do you?
I do.
Okay. A lot of people don't.
I do.
I do too. I think you put him at the door,
No,
but I think he's in there.
he might be holding the door open for everybody, but he is there.
He's in there.
I think
He's in there. And I think that's even unfair to say. I think
I do too.
he very much belongs in that room. He's a great quarterback. You want to talk about a great deep ball.
Yes, and a great leader and a great guy in the community. I mean, is he Aaron Rodgers? No, I take Aaron Rodgers over Drew Brees with all apologies.
Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback of all time. He's now proven that.
He's the best quarterback of all time.
Okay.
Difference between greatest, Brady or Bart Starr.
He's not the most
greatest.
decorated.
Yeah, Brady or Bart Starr is the greatest.
Yeah.
As the GOAT.
You got to quit sending me those memes, by the way. It's the same one.
Which one?
I'm going to post it on here so you can see it. It's where Tom Brady is with Bill Belichick that says 7 and 15 years dynasty, or 5 and 15 years or something like that, dynasty. And then
Bart Starr's 5 and 7.
Yeah, that's cute.
90%.
5 and 7.
Yeah,
you can see it right here.
98% win. He still holds the record for the best record percentage in the playoffs. 90%.
He only lost one game.
Yes.
He doesn't get the credit he deserves because it wasn't Super Bowl era. I agree with you there, and nobody cared about the first two.
He still won 3 NFL championships in a row. The only quarterback to ever do that, except for the 29 Packers. They won 3 in a row too.
You were there for those.
No, I wasn't. Don't be a smartass. So, anyways, I'm really beginning to think that Sean Payton really is a bully, and he actually probably supported Bountygate.
Of course he did. That doesn't happen on your team, and you don't know about it.
But he got a pass from all of it.
He's gotten a pass his entire career. As soon as the Saints got bad, I mean, he pulled an Urban Meyer when Urban Meyer was at Florida. As soon as the team got bad, he left. He has to step down for health reasons. Urban Meyer did the same thing in Florida, and then 3 years later is in Ohio State. And then guess what? As soon as Ohio State starts to get bad, he has health issues and steps down.
Right.
The issue is Ohio State never got bad. But seriously, after Urban Meyer left Florida, they had nothing left. Urban Meyer used Ron Zook's recruits in Florida.
Right.
Because Tim Tebow and that entire staff, Ron Zook recruited. Ron Zook was a great recruiter, just happened to be a bad coach. And he did the same thing in Ohio State. He used Jim Tressel's team and then took them to a national championship and then brought in some other talent because Ohio State just reloads. And that's just how it goes there. It's the same thing with Sean Payton. As soon as they get bad, all of a sudden he has health issues, even though he's still in his contract. And people are like, oh, that makes sense. Thank you for all the winning. And now they've been garbage ever since. It's like, no, Sean Payton should have coached those teams. But he realized it was a bad team. And then he walks into Denver thinking, well, this is a great roster. I have a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I have a good defense because he did until he traded all away this year. I have awesome receivers. Like, I'm going to go in and just waltz in and all of a sudden win. This is clearly the coach's fault for not being able to run a talent like this.
Well,
he's garbage.
He alienated his Hall of Fame quarterback within the first 2 seconds that he was there.
Yeah. Because he realized how bad it was. He's going to get a chance to rebuild this. He's being paid way too much money.
He's going to be
like $25 million a year for the next 5 or 6 years. But I don't know if Sean Payton's a good coach. And I think the fact that he's still getting a pass to this day is ridiculous.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. I'm going to read a list to you, and I want you to tell me which is the worst. You teased it at the beginning of the show. You got the Patriots that are one of.
We're going to go into the worst teams. Well, let me go into this real quick because you had said something to me too before we jump into that. Because I do want to jump into that, but I want to bash Sean Payton some more because it's fun. Let me ask you this: is who do you think is worse, Sean Payton or Bill Belichick? Because Belichick's having a bad time right now too.
And I was going to discuss that when we got into the worst teams because Bill Belichick is on the list.
He is.
You never let me take control. Anyways, I think Bill Belichick. Number one, Bill Belichick has had a great career. He had a Hall of Fame quarterback with him the whole time. He's now 75 years old. He's made some questionable draft picks. He's moved up and taken some people that weren't quite sure. I don't think the quarterback they have now is going to be the guy.
Mac Jones is done.
He's not the guy. So, look, everything in the NFL is coach and quarterback. If you don't have those two in sync, it's never going to work.
So who's worse?
The worst team?
No, Sean Payton or Bill Belichick?
I'll take Belichick. Even though he cheats,
He's worse or better?
He's better.
I agree.
He's better.
He actually won with the Browns.
He did.
Before they moved to Baltimore.
And he had an 11-5 season with a backup quarterback.
Matt Castle.
Yeah. Who did nothing after he left there. He got a huge paycheck and good for him. But
I think he's just old and tired.
Well, he's in his 70s, and I think they have to pack
and tired.
They have to part ways. He may have cheated once, twice, several times, so he's not the greatest coach of all time, but he is better than Sean Payton.
Well, this definitely hurts his legacy because Lombardi went to Washington and won.
Well, he died.
Yeah, but he won and then he died.
He turned him around
and then he died. Yeah. The death isn't his fault. It's cancer's fault.
Colon cancer's fault.
But he did go to Washington and win.
Lombardi is the greatest coach in the history of the sport. Let's face it. I mean,
you hear that, Cowboys fans? Tom Landry is trash.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Packers.
I was joking. You were supposed to defend Tom Landry.
No. Not over from Vince Lombardi. Are you nuts? No, I love
same coaching staff in New York.
Yeah, what a coaching staff that was.
Yep.
One was offensive coordinator, one was defensive coordinator. You're going to win a few games.
Yeah, that you are. Moving on to the worst teams. I know you wanted to go to this, but I wanted to hit that first because I really want to know your opinion on that. But let's get into the worst teams in the NFL right now. For the first time in history, we have 7 teams after Week 5 that are 1-4 and worse. Most of them 1-4. One, the Panthers being 0-5. And it's interesting in here because there's a lot of teams, in my opinion, I don't think should be this record. And so I wanted to get your opinion on who is the worst. So let me list these off real quick. I know you have in front of you too, but we have the Patriots that are 1-4, the Broncos, the Giants, the Cardinals, the Vikings, the Bears, and then the Panthers are 0-5.
Yes. The worst.
Rank them. Who do you think shouldn't be 1-4 right now?
The Vikings. I think the Vikings have a better offense. They should have won a couple games by this point.
I think the Vikings are feeling the opposite of what they felt last year.
Yeah,
the Vikings won a lot of close games last
11
year.
11 one-point games.
Right. And I think they're starting to see the reverse side. Brian Flores, by the way, who should have been the Packers defensive coordinator, a great defensive coordinator.
Sure.
He's working out that defense. It's a worse defense than I thought it would be. Honestly, I really thought Brian Flores would turn it around, and he hasn't. But that offense is still on fire. Kirk Cousins is still having an MVP season. He won't be an MVP because he's on a losing team, but I'm still right that he would have an MVP season.
I mean, and the other ones, I'm surprised the Patriots are 1-4. I thought they would have had a couple wins.
Yeah, but they've gotten blown out the last couple.
They have
to the point where they've pulled Mac Jones.
Yeah, I think Jones has regressed. The Broncos, I knew it was going to be a shite show.
They've lost some close games. I mean, they could have won most of the games they've been in. They really could have.
They have.
I know I went off on Sean Payton, but they've been. It's funny. It's looked worse on the field than the score has actually shown.
Wilson has had some moments.
Is he starting next year for the Broncos?
They paid him too much.
Is he starting in 2 weeks?
They paid him too much. They overpaid him. And thank God we were right.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God.
Russell Wilson was 2 seconds away from being a Green Bay Packer.
Yeah, for those who don't remember, in our second show, it was all during the Rodgers hubbub, and we said, look, one of two things is going to happen. The Packers are going to sign Rodgers, and if they do, Russell Wilson's going to Denver, or if the Packers trade Rodgers to Denver, Wilson's going to be the Green Bay Packers quarterback.
We were right.
And we were right.
The move happened 2 seconds after Rodgers said he was staying in Green Bay. I mean, it was a done deal. And he decided to stay a Packer, and thank God he did.
Yes, absolutely. So, the Bears are just a mess as always.
They're looking better. As of last week, they really took it to Washington.
I think Arizona's playing better than people thought. They haven't won, but they've been playing better.
They got heart. They're accepting the fact. They remind me of the Dolphins back in the tanking for 2 years when they had Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
It's like this whole league expects us to just lose every single game. We're going to go out and we're going to play with some heart. They're going to be a top 5 pick, but I think they're going to win a couple more games.
I think the Bears are going to win 6 games.
There's no way they win 6 games.
I think they will.
No.
I think they're going to get hot down the stretch.
I think they're 4, maybe 5 in a close one, but
no, I think they'll get to 6. Honestly, some of these teams are going to pass the Packers.
They could. Here's the other thing you have in the league right now. I'm just talking about the 1-4 teams, but you have 1, 2. Let's see here. 1, 2. You can tell I prepared for this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams that are 2-3.
Which is just, the NFL is all about parity. This is the first time that there's really a haves and have-nots.
Yeah. When you see some 2-3 teams that are really starting to turn it around, you look at the Texans are starting to look better. The Titans are starting to look better. The Browns and the Bengals are interesting stories. But there's a lot more teams we could have put on this list as worst teams, but I just stuck with the 1-4 and 0-5 teams.
I think if I have to pick the absolute worst team on this list, the Panthers are exactly where I thought they'd be.
The Panthers could be winning. Andy Dalton showed that, okay, there's talent here, and you can win with Andy Dalton being a starting quarterback, but they're going to ride and die with Bryce Young.
The big hit is still sitting out there in the future that's going to lay him out.
I think the Bryce Young pick is going to turn out. I said I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole.
So did I.
And as smart as he's looked on the field, he's proving he is too small to play quarterback in this league.
I think he's going to be an outstanding coach at some point.
Yes.
He is incredibly
smart. As long as his head doesn't explode.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not looking. He has to turn it around. He's a rookie. I'll give it to him.
You and I talked about it. We were both taking C.J. Stroud over Bryce Young, and I think we've been proven.
C.J. Stroud looks so good.
Yeah,
so good, and we're gonna get into that in a second here. So let's.
Who do you take as the worst team?
I don't know. It's so hard to tell because there are teams that are just bad on here, and there are teams that are getting unlucky. I think the Vikings are the best of the worst in this one because the Vikings shouldn't be 1-4. They've lost some close games. The Patriots have gotten blown out in a couple of games. The Giants have lost some close ones, but they've looked like trash doing it the whole time. The Broncos, again, winning close ones, but look bad on the field. The Cardinals, I agree with you. They are starting to play better than they should be. They're going to be a bad team because they're a bad team, but they're playing with a lot of heart right now. I think the Panthers are the worst of them because Bryce Young just isn't ready, and he's not taking those steps that you expected him to take. C.J. Stroud is taking steps. Anthony Richardson has taken a lot of steps. He just needs to learn how to slide.
Yes.
And we haven't seen anybody else in the field.
I'm worried that Richardson is going to be one of those guys that's chronically injured, and you're never going to get even 3/4 of a season.
Yeah, I don't want to see him turn into RG3, but he's heading that way if he doesn't learn to slide. And they're going to be on him about that.
And he's got a big boost now that Taylor's back.
He does.
He didn't play
Talk about winning on a sidetrack here. We kept saying, and I am at fault for this, saying this is dumb. He came off a bad season, blah, 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 blah. Jonathan Taylor just won. He just got $14 million a year, almost all guaranteed. 3 years, $42 million. Way to go, Jonathan Taylor.
I honestly, the only screw up that Goody made,
he didn't make that trade.
Not making that trade.
He should have traded Watson for him.
He should have. He should have let Watson go.
Yep.
They've got good receivers there. They can find the speed.
Yep.
Make the trade, and because you don't know what you got having Watson, he's been hurt more and he's been on the field.
Right.
Bring Jonathan Taylor over when you can get that kind of a talent. You grab it.
Yeah, they should have made that trade. But back to this real quick. I think if you're talking the worst, it's the Panthers. I think if you're talking about the team that's going to be the second worst, I think you have to say the Patriots. They have gotten blown out back-to-back games. Like it's looking rough in New England right now.
There are some just really bad teams this year. I don't think Daniel Jones' experiment's almost done in New York
But he's
He'll be
looked
there.
good at points.
at points, but he's never going
But
to.
again, bad offensive line.
Right. He's never going to be the guy to get them to the promised land. I just don't see it.
No.
The Cardinals. Here's the real question: Panthers go 0-17, 1-17. They got the first pick.
Well, the Bears get the first pick.
Well, okay, yeah, they do. So, okay, the Bears get the first pick. Bears made. They're going to get They get Carolina's pick, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Bears are going to take Caleb Williams, which I don't agree with. But if you're Carolina,
Maybe. You can't say that.
I can
Maybe.
say that. I can say that. They're going to.
You got the kid from North Carolina. You have Sanders that might come out this year. He won't, but he might. You got some other good quarterbacks. This always happens every single year. Caleb Williams is going to walk into those interviews, and if he acts like he's been acting in college, he's never going to be touched.
Well, he's going to walk. Justin Fields, unfortunately, that experiment's going to be over.
Yeah.
He's going to be another Cam Newton, whatever.
I hope he's Cam Newton. Cam Newton was the best quarterback in the league for 8 years.
I understand that, but short career is what I meant.
Yeah.
Cam Newton was a much better quarterback so far than Justin Fields has been.
Cam Newton's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Close.
Put Kurt Warner in.
I'm just talking
putting Cam Newton in.
Didn't see that one coming. I wish I would have. I never would have said a word.
But I think the Panthers are going to be the worst of the worst because I just think Bryce Young is not taking those steps. The Vikings are going to win some games. The Bears, I think, are going to win a couple more. The Cardinals are just a not talented team. And it's not to say the NFL, everybody's talented, right? You're in the NFL.
Right.
But they're not there. The Giants could really take a dive, and the Broncos are going to continue to be bad. But I think the Patriots, with how much they're getting their butts kicked right now, I think the Patriots are going to end up with possibly the 1, if not the 2 pick.
You see Belichick retiring after this year?
Yeah. I think it's going to be a forced retirement.
Yeah.
I really do. Either a forced retirement or a step down, and he tries to do it with another team just to get some ego boost back. But he is not. I said that at the beginning of the year. That was one of my big takes, was that this is the last year for Bill Belichick. I don't even know if he makes the season. I really don't.
Oh, I do. You talk about ego. He's going to make the season. I just don't see.
You have to, but they should have done that with McCarthy too, and didn't in Green Bay.
That's a Green Bay thing.
Yeah, but normally they don't do that in Green Bay.
No, they don't.
And I could see he and Kraft haven't been getting along.
I know.
For a long time.
Okay, but now we're moving on. So on to our brave and bold.
Let us know what you think about the comments in the comments below. Who is the worst team? I can, because you always yell at me, and now I'm going to remember this. Let us know what you think in the comments below about who you think will be the worst team in the NFL when it's all said and done. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get to enjoy this show as much as we enjoy making it.
We were 4-1 last week.
We were.
You know, one game we got wrong.
Green Bay Packers.
Yes, we did. It was awful, but we got
everybody home.
We got everybody home. So we got the top 5 games this week. We're going to start with the Eagles at the Jets.
All right, so this is where it really gets interesting, because the Jets are turning into a better team. They didn't look great last week, but the Eagles have to lose a game, and it's at the Meadowlands. Aaron Rodgers is most likely going to be there for this game. I think this is where you see Breece Hall run up and down the field. He's going to have another monster game. You're going to see Zach Wilson take another step in the right direction with all the weapons he has. The defense is not going to allow the tush push to happen. I think the Jets come out with a win on this.
The Eagles have taken a step back this year. Lost some people, whatever. I don't think they lose this game. I think they're going to beat the Jets, and their loss will come surprisingly later on.
All right, this is the one that I picked because we have NFC South versus AFC South. Saints at Texans.
Look, I thought the Texans were going to be one of those 0-5 teams at this point. CJ Stroud is just another cat.
I told you.
Don't want to hear it.
You know where he's from? You know where he's college?
Yeah, it's from Wisconsin. Leave it alone.
You know where he went to college?
I'm taking
starts with a V.
Just say it and get it over with.
V. Ohio State University.
Stupid nut. Anyways, I am taking.
Championship nut.
I am taking. Stop it. Until Fickle brings the Badgers to that point.
Or he leaves and goes back home.
I hate you. back to the picks. I'm taking the Texans in this game.
You know, it all depends on Derek Carr. Derek Carr is such an interesting character because at one moment he looks like a Hall of Fame quarterback, and then the next moment he's getting pulled off the field for Jameis Winston. I mean, granted, he was hurt, but if Jameis Winston has to play, he's looked really bad this year. That is one I've already gotten wrong.
Yes.
That Jameis Winston's going to start more than Derek Carr. I may get it right because Derek Carr keeps getting hurt, but Jameis Winston looks real bad all of a sudden. I just don't know. I mean, they have really good wide receivers. Alvin Kamara looked really good last week. Jamal Williams has looked good in the times he's been used. The defense is looking pretty good. The Texans have really looked good the last couple of weeks.
They're coming on. They're coming together.
I mean, Nico has been a surprising wide receiver. C.J. Stroud is the Ohio State University quarterback I know and love. What did I say? The Wonderlic Tech was a joke. He's going to be the best quarterback out of all these people, and sure enough, he is earlier than I thought he would be.
Remember, you used to watch Andy Griffith with me?
Yeah.
Nip it. Done. Pick the game.
My heart wants to go with the Texans. My brain goes with the Saints on this one. I think the Saints are going to come out and win.
Okay. So we're different on both games so far.
Yep.
Seahawks at the Bengals.
We got football Jesus playing again, and man, he still shouldn't be.
No.
He really shouldn't be. Geno Smith is another one where you knew he overplayed last year, where he was able to, and he's really shown that this year. He's come back down to earth like you knew he would. The team is getting older, and you're starting to see it. They have some running backs, though.
They do.
Especially Charbonnet, I think is how you pronounce his name, who has really come up as a rookie. I think he's going to take a lot more carries, and I especially hope so since he's on my fantasy team.
And they've got a great coach.
And they have Pete Carroll, who still has fire.
Yeah.
And shows that every single day. But this is where the Bengals start to turn their season around. Jamar Chase looked outstanding last week. Mixon starting to come back. You have Joe Burrow. This is where the Bengals are going to be better because they're short passes. Get it out of his hand quick. Because, again, the offensive line is still bad. He's still fighting a calf injury. I got the Bengals winning this one at home.
I do, too. I don't think it's going to be that close. I think the Bengals win this by 10 points or more.
I think it should be closer than that. I really do. But it's going to be a good game. Ravens at Titans.
Good game. It's going to be interesting to see. Titans have not impressed me that much at all. I think the Ravens are still a class of the Central or North, whatever division.
North. How old are you?
Yeah, let's go with the Central. Yeah, the old NFC Central, the black and blue division.
Not even the NFC. AFC.
I know that. But Pittsburgh's in it, you know.
I don't. Has there ever been an AFC Central?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know either.
It was the old Cleveland.
Right, moving on.
No, they did. There was because there was I think the NFC Central was.
I can tell you Baltimore's never been in it.
Shut up. I'm taking the Ravens in this game.
Here's where it gets interesting. The Titans have a good coach in Mike Vrabel, right? They have a good team. I mean, they're not a championship team by any means, but they could come out of the South that looked a lot better in the AFC here. The Ravens depend. Here's the thing. Are we looking at the same offense that we've seen for the Ravens forever? It's still too run heavy. You're still not seeing Lamar Jackson throw the ball a lot, which was supposed to be different. I mean, at some point, you have to take the training wheels off Lamar Jackson and treat him like a quarterback and not a glorified athlete.
John Harbaugh.
I know, but Lamar Jackson is more than just an athlete. You need to start letting it go. Or maybe he's not. Maybe I'm wrong and I'm just seeing things the way I want to see them in rose-colored glasses.
They paid him a lot of money.
Paid him a lot of money for that. So you need to let Lamar Jackson really start to air it out, or we're just going to see who Lamar Jackson really is. And maybe he's not the thrower, but we have to find out. This is the same offense we've been seeing from this Ravens year in and year out, and you have to change it. You have to make him more of a threat to throw the ball, or you're just going to stack the line, which is what's been causing them to lose. You are stacking the line. You're getting to Lamar Jackson again. Why are NFL coaches not listening to me? Quick passes, slants, run a West Coast offense. West Coast offense, Matt LaFleur, does not mean screens. Slants, button hooks, get out the ball quick. Go back and watch Matt Walsh learn how to coach an offense. Thank you.
Reel him back in.
I don't like Matt LaFleur.
Who are you taking?
Don't like Matt LaFleur.
Where are you taking in this game?
I'm taking the Ravens in this game because I think you're going to start to see that Ravens offense start to change at this point, because it has to at this point in the season if they're going to be successful later on.
They're still the class of their division. And finally, last but certainly not last, the Cowboys at the Chargers.
Last but not last.
Yes, I said that on purpose.
Threw me off on that one. Well done. This is a game where it's going to get really, really interesting, because you have two teams that really need to decide who they want to be as a football team. The Chargers are sitting 2-2 coming off of a bye week. Cowboys are 3-2, but they've not looked great the last couple weeks here.
Are they the team that lost the Cardinals?
I mean, here's the thing. I'm taking the Chargers here, because I think the Chargers have a lot more to give. Herbert's a much better quarterback than Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is the Achilles heel of this team. The Cowboys are only going to go as far as Dak Prescott allows them to go. They need a quarterback. You want to talk about a team that's about to make a big trade for a quarterback. I mean, this is where the Dallas Cowboys really need to come into play. I mean, how much would the Dallas Cowboys love to have Aaron Rodgers right now?
Well, I don't think Aaron really wants to be in Dallas.
The question is then what number would he have really worn? He wouldn't have worn 12 or 8.
Well, they don't retire numbers.
Still, nobody wears them. If somebody wore number 12 in Dallas, come on.
They wear 88 all the time.
Well, that's different.
It's wide receiver.
It's a different game. But I think that the Chargers are going to win simply because you don't know what you have in Dak Prescott. You really don't. He's reals bad.
I can't argue with you. I'm taking the Chargers at home in this one. I think they're a better overall team. And until the Cowboys fix some things internally, talk about a team that needs a bye right now. They're going to have to prove it to me, and I'm taking the Chargers.
I think the Chargers are not only going to win this one, but I think Dak Prescott is going to get pulled at some point in this game, especially if he continues to play the way he did last week.
He's going to be on a very short leash. I could see him out before the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, I think you are absolutely right. I think we have also had a great show. You let us know what you think in the comments below about our picks. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get to enjoy this show as much as we enjoy making it.
We are just shy of 73,000 subscribers.
We're almost there. We're almost there. And thank you for all of you that do subscribe 100%.
Again, our goal is 99,999 before the end of the year.
100,000, this man gets a tattoo. Let's make it happen. I want to see him in pain.
Right.
I really do. It'll be fun for me and give me that enjoyment. It'll be my favorite Christmas gift. But as you know from watching this show, you cannot have a conversation with your father without your dad getting the last word. So it is all you.
So there's going to be kind of a combined last word here today. First and foremost, our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone in Israel right now who are suffering through the terrorist attacks. I can't imagine what those families are going through. So again, our thoughts and prayers go out to all the families involved, and I hope your families come home safe. On to a sports thing. The NHL announced that they are not going to allow any kind of rainbow tape, no rainbow uniforms, actually no special uniforms at all this year, or any kind of special tapes that honor anything. It's the right decision. People go to hockey games and the football games to see a sport and to get away from the world for a while. That wasn't happening. They were being forced to wear special uniforms to honor this and that and what have you. And I think that's a mistake. I mean, it was, yes, everybody wants to honor people who are fighting breast cancer. Players can do that on their own time. And that's what Mike Bettman said with the NHL. You know, do it on your own time, but on the ice, we're going to be focusing on the ice. Now, I will take exception with one part of his statement. He also included the military in that. I know the logic is if we ban one, we have to ban them all. Military separate. I still think that the NHL should have a military honors night where the players wear their camouflage, because these are guys who put their lives on the line each and every day for us. But as far as every other charity and special event involved, players should support those initiatives. Go out and do it on your own time, but keep it off the uniforms, keep it off the warm-ups, keep it off the hockey sticks. Just go and play hockey and go Lightning, as the season is about to start.
Until Wisconsin gets a hockey team.
Yeah, well, that's not happening, so go Lightning.
Thank you so much, as always, for watching. I hope you enjoy the show as much as we did. We'll see you next time.
All right, everybody.